that we live eating over here continues eating this. Now, how could it continue when we're eating hog and lamb? Some of us claim not to eat hog, but then we say, a lamb, not realizing that lamb is more treacherous than pork. I asked my mother one day, I said, Mom, why is it that they have Jesus with a lamb in his arm? You see, does the lamb represent some righteous virtue, humbleness and meekness? This beast was made in the laboratory. God or nature didn't make any lamb. But we believe that. And we had to believe that. Why? Okay, think about this. All the way from the continent they call Africa, all the way over here, 4,000 miles to America, do you think the something wasn't lost? I mean, look, I know for a fact that there were much that was lost when I was in Los Angeles at 31, 32, 35, 37. I was hobnobbing with the revolutionaries. I was a good Christian. I was a good Muslim. I like to be a good everything. And I love Islam like I love Christianity. I love everything. I love everyone because it's easy for me that way. If I love you, I feel good. But if I hate you, man, I'm going to feel bad. Every time I see you, I'm going to feel bad anyway. So I am not going to allow you to take my body into a state of such. This is important. As a merchant seaman, I had an encounter with a white man. His name is Bert Bowles. I said, Bert, the engineer said you should not overflow the evaporator anymore. He said, nigger, you don't talk to me like that. I said, what you say, Bert? Nigger? Say it again, Bert. Nigger. I said, Bert, it sounds good. Say it again. But Bert didn't say it. So I repeated. I said, Bert, you're not going to say it again? Well, I'm going to say it, Bert. Nigger. Didn't sound good, Bert. You say it. And he looked at me and he realized that the word had no place in me. About a few weeks later, we aboard the ship. He was stealing everybody's property. So everybody went to the captain and told the captain he was a thief. I said, Captain, Freddie, Bert is not a thief. What? I heard he said he called you a nigger. I said, why don't you call him a nigger? I said, words has no place in my life, Captain Freddie. Bert is not a thief. Come on. I took him down. I said, Bert, do you have a wallet? Yes, Bowman. I have your wallet with your picture of your grandmother, your wife, and $200. And oh, and I have your camera. I said, Captain Freddie, that's a thief. That was 1963. I left that ship. Went to California. I became a healer. 1989, a group of lawyers in New Orleans called my office in New York and said that they wanted to pay me $3,500 to come to New Orleans and pay my plane fare and also my hotel, and explain to them how was it that I won this big case in the Supreme Court. Oh, we won a case, and we're going to go into it to let you see what we want. Well, I don't have to tell you Nuwaupians that because you guys have no fear. That was what I got from Melvina and Denise Melvina and Denise are two women that were down there, sisters that were down there. And I listened to them. I knew about Brother Malachi York. I knew about him because I know him. I do know he's a beautiful brother, a very intelligent and smart man. But I don't join. I don't like to join things because they're too, something about them restrictive, and it's, I don't know, I wasn't comfortable. But when I heard Sister Denise and Melvina, I said, you know, I want to be a member because I'm by myself. Like I'm useless. I'm not a member of any family. Okay. I went back to New Orleans where I shipped out, and I told my wife then, I want to go to the Union Hall because I used to be a seaman. When I went there, I saw much of the seamen, many of them, and who did I see? When I'm walking back to the automobile, a dirty, dirty, dirty white man is coming towards me, so I stepped out of his way and I kept on walking. Then I heard, Bowman! And I turned back. He said, this is Bird. This is Bird. You're my only friend. And he's crying out, you're my only friend. The man that called me a nigger is saying I was his only friend. But there was something that's gonna come out this white man's mouth. And I don't know how he would have figured this one out or fathomed this or whatever. He said, I knew I'd see you one day and that you're gonna come and heal me. I wasn't a healer when I was a merchant seaman, but I got Bert to be cured and his family. Now here is the son of the slave that is treating the son of the slave master. All right? What does that say to the son of the slave master? And the son of the slave especially. What is that message that I went into my pocket? His brother just gave me $3,500 last night for telling them how I won the case. Now I have to give Bert like 500 of those to buy some shoes. Now what is it about that act? That's us. That's always been us, the so-called black race. We have never offended anyone. And this white man called me a nigger, but he had to eat those words, turned back and said, I was his only friend. That's us. We as a healer, Dr. Sebi, Dr. Healer, all of us are, especially those women, they are the nurturers. We are the nurturers. Now, we're going to go into a little bit of history here that we can understand more about this journey of healing. We already know, as we roll it back into the jungles of Africa, we didn't have to know anything about hair, because all we had was over here. So we just lived without no clothes, punching no clock, no school. We didn't have no school. And we didn't have this. Paper. You see, to make paper, you have to cut some trees down. And after you cut the tree down, you have to make a machine to pulp the tree. Then you have to make another machine to suck the oil out of the ground, to feed that machine, to pulp the paper, to make the paper. But look at the mess we're making. But we can't fathom that state of life, living. We can't even understand how was that possible. But it was possible because we lived that. Well, as far back in history as we go, the herbs are for the healing of the nation. They didn't have to tell us that because that's how we live. But Hippocrates came, the Greek, and he found out that these African people weren't getting sick. So why are they not in a hospital? They have no hospital. There's no grocery store. There is nothing. But he watched what they were eating. He goes back to Greece and begins to use that particular principle, modality, or whatever way. And he was curing disease in Greece. He established the School of Medicine, known today. But Hippocrates, when I was arrested, we're going to go into the case now. While I was in jail, I was laughing because I wanted to know what defense would they have against me. You see, I traveled with the best of the philosophers and the religious people. I was never too inclined with that, but I was inclined to pursue, because of the energies of life navigating me to this point. But I like it. But I didn't want to be it because I'm vulgar, I'm loose, I have no discipline, I'm lazy. So all these things is me. But that's okay, I love it. This is why I didn't want the position. And I made a statement in New Orleans in 1962 that I wanted to give the black woman a gift. Why I selected the black woman? Because in New Orleans in the 60s, late 50s, early 60s, you talk about a black woman, it was like you talk about some horrible being. They even call you Sapphire. I said, but why do we talk about her that way? And she's our mother. I came out of one. I said, I'm going to give her a gift. I was in a barber chair in Tim Barber Shop. I didn't know the gift was going to be healing, but the gift is healing. And what the woman has done in healing, I've never done. So I know that you all have the capacity because you all are the nurturers. Healing requires nurturing, right? Okay. So now Hippocrates used herbs. And if we go to science, science shows us that the only substance that could assimilate is a carbon-based substance. That's a natural plant. So that's why I was laughing in jail. I want to know what defense they were going to have against me. But I had one ace in the hole that has never been used. Now we could use it because we got it. We won our case. While the judge, I'm going to play games with the physicians because I know that we're helpless. I know they never had someone like myself in front of their face, but I'm going to rub it on the nose. The judge said, Dr. Sebi, the physician, no, would you please begin? I said, where do I begin, Your Honor? Begin where you say that you have the cure for AIDS and the physician claimed that there is no cure. I said, the physicians are 100% right. There is no cure for AIDS or any other disease. They are right. The judge said, but I have a newspaper here that says, you said there's cure. I said, oh, that. That is a horse of a different color. She said, how does that help me? This sounds like a contradiction. I said, maybe to you, Your Honor, but I'll clear that up. I agreed with you with the physician making the claim that there is no cure for AIDS or any other disease. Because the perspective that prepared the physician, his education, his discipline, his modality, doesn't cure anything. So when he said that he doesn't cure it and there is no cure, he's right from his perspective. But from my perspective, there is cure for AIDS and every other disease. What I just did is to bridle the court. Remember what I did. Look what I did. Physicians are right by their modality. But by ours, there is cure. So what is the question that the judge is going to ask? There's only one question. What is the difference? Oh my God. When the judge asks me, what is the difference in the perspectives Dr. Victor Herbert, who is head of the Veteran Administration, jumped up and said, I beg your pardon, another perspective? Your Honor, we all know that the allopathic is the only one that complements. Dr. Sebi, what do you say? I say, not so. What is your perspective? The African biomineral balance. The doctor said, I've never heard of such a thing. I say, he's right again. You have never heard of the African biomineral balance. But we have to remind the good doctor that he have not heard of a whole lot of things, and the African biobalance only happened to be one of them. What is the African biobalance opposed to the allopathic? The allopathic uses chemicals. The African biomineral balance, not so. We use a vegetable. Why? The body is carbon-based. So we differ in substance used, but we also differ how we perceive disease. The allopathic claim that you have multiple disease. When you have pneumonia, you have AIDS, you have diabetes, you have 3 different diseases. Not so. There's only one disease. The doctor jumped back up and said, I told you this man is unscientific and ignorant. He said that. I said, Your Honor, he's right. I'm unscientific. But if we have to use science as the measure or barometer to reverse disease, science already had 500 years. They have not cured one. So what do we find in the African biomineral balance? It has reduced disease to one common denominator, mucus. And we proceed to remove the mucus from the system by using an electric cell phone, natural plant from the forest. Upon doing so, we nourish the part that was aggravated most. Like if you come to me with cancer of the bones, where I don't have to put too much emphasis on the blood or the brain, it's on the calcium of the bone, right? But if you come to me with sickle cell, I'm going to clean the body, putting emphasis on the blood. But if you come to me insane, I'm going to clean the body and put emphasis on the brain. That is what we do. An intracellular chelation. That is the African approach to pathology. Opposed to the European, which is the allopathic, is multiple disease. So you see, the FDA now jumped in because the FDA saw we were getting the advantage. We are not going to allow this man to practice or to sell his compounds because we don't know what's in them. The judge said, well, let me see. So he goes through my record. He said, well, this man doesn't show signs of recalls. On the other hand, your physician, there's always a recall. So what I think we need to do here is this. You're gonna have to raise your level of understanding of herbs to his, not he drop down to yours. Dr. Sebi, you could use whatever herb you find fit in your repertoire. But the part of this case that really hit home was when the FDA said that I couldn't sell the product. I said, the FDA is right. I should sell my product, providing they know the food that is consistent with our gene structure. The judge said, what do you mean by that? I said, you see, Your Honor, in creation, you will not find a gorilla in Alaska. nor a polar bear in Africa. And you will not see a gorilla eating the food of a polar bear because he doesn't eat blood. Now, the polar bear eats flowers and plants. So when you remove the black man from Africa, did you bring his food with him? No. They said no. Now you're talking. You see, now we are getting home. We are seeing that it is necessary for you and I. This is why I'm so happy that I became a member of the Nuwaupians. Why? Because when I talked to Melvina and Denise, I could see the fire, I could see the sincerity, I could see love, I could see togetherness. And I have never been a member of anything that displayed that to me. And I said that I would like to be a member to bring to you an added component. And you, I became a family to you. So naturally, from now onwards, I have to be more careful in conducting myself. Because I see how you conduct yourself. And I admire all of you that I've met. I heard of you for years. But I was traveling to Africa, South America. I didn't have time to sit down to do anything. I had to run around and take care of a whole lot of business. I find myself having to see presidents from all over Africa. But I know I was abreast of what you were doing. But the day came that the opportunity presented itself in which I am a member now and I'm going to comply with all of the requirements. I told Melvina, if we could take this worldwide, we would be the only organization or family or nation in the world that provide the healing for the world. And we don't have to be angry with people, you know, hey, we got the goodies here. You have to behave yourself now because they cannot go around saying that there's no cure for AIDS. Now we're going to come to that part. AIDS. We said there's only one disease. Right? Well, with AIDS, where is the mucus? It's in the skin, it's in the blood, and the lymphatic system that makes up the immunological system. That's where you find the mucus. They are looking for virus. I was in the Tony Brown Journal. You know the Tony Brown Journal, right? Well, I was on there when the year after I won the case, and there was a young white man who was on the panel. He said, well, I can't make a statement such as curing AIDS or any disease. I said, you're right, because you haven't, but I can. And he did not like that. What I'm seeing, that you and I now have the cure of the world in our hands, whether they like it or not. We now have to know how to project this, how to work with it, but we have it. This is what I want for us, the right to practice the medicine of our fathers, which is what? Nutrition, not medicine. Electric cell food. We want that right. We also want the right, and no one has ever taken the privilege to act on it. You know, when I said that when they removed the black man from Africa, they didn't bring his food with him? Well, why can't we go to the schools now and demand that they put in the schools the food or the nutrition consistent with our children's gene makeup? We have that right. We have that right. But Senator Carson didn't do it. And I was at the Rayburn building in Capitol Hill on the year 2004. Mr. Michael Jackson going to take me to Capitol Hill because he said that he had a gift for Africa. He said, Sebi, you want to go? I go. Don't see why I shouldn't. When I got to Washington, boy, big crowd. I mean, Michael is famous. My son told me, and I made a mistake. I should learn to dance and move my fanny, and I'd make billions. You cure AIDS, they give you pennies. So I went with him, and then when I got into this building, there were all these people, they were ambassadors. There were 17 African ambassadors. Sheila Jackson Lee, when she came up to my wife, she said, chocolate people with silver hair. I said, wow, look at the description she gave. Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas, right? The Black Caucus. Then there is Mr. John Conyers from Michigan. And the 17 African ambassadors. And there was Jesse Jackson Jr. from the House of Appropriation. And there was Leonard Mohammed from the Nation of Islam. And I'm talking to them. And I gave them the proof. And do you know that the same response that I got in Africa from the president, I got it from these brothers that day. You didn't hear that it was cure for AIDS, right? Well, how come Leonard Mohammed didn't tell Minister Farrakhan? How come Mr. Jesse Jackson Jr., who is a member of the House of Appropriation, didn't tell them that it was cure for AIDS? Because they claim that they are looking for the cure. But we have the cure. What's the problem? So what the problem is this, like the German told me in Germany, in Munich, now that you have proven that you cure AIDS, who do you expect to support you? The world, I said. He said, that's where you're wrong. German doesn't cure AIDS. Chinese doesn't cure AIDS. Neither does Americans, but you, the black race, cure AIDS. So who should help you? I said, the black race. I said, thank you. But I know and I feel that you will be the only person to help this thing. Not me, but the entity of our forefathers. You can't support to help me. I'm part of you. I'm you. We are projecting an entity that is ours. That's going to support our life, makes us feel better and live better with peace. They didn't tell anyone. What's up with that? Now, should we force their hand? No. We're going to go about doing what we're doing all the time, right? We don't have to force anybody's hand. That's okay. But now they are faced to answer to the public of the world because there is a website. There's Cure for AIDS. What do we do now? We just sit back and see Africa die. One ambassador came to me from Mali. He said, we need you. But that was the last I heard of it.
Son, stop playing. Learn the language, homie. Tour. Yeah, Hanuki hen has a Nuwaupian net the water out to rain. Okay, keep until Takrifani. Pare, Jadu Sanu, Neb Napora to Hurry. So Akazi, he again Hador, Yakutanga lose near we Uri Reform. Wala Lunga, Kiawi, Uni Sabor, Utem Sanu, Chiati, Uni Kapor. Haji Pare, Diawi, Uri Harbor, Kalonza, Ulia, Kiati, Oli Beat, Maglor. Are you back now? Roll back, huh? Kiali, Usi da Bor, Miati, Uni Nazor. Fakador, Romano, Kiati, Uri Kator, Rakus Gano, Muguari, Ugi, Nusor, Wan Kalapa, Kiati.
But he loved her. He loved her all the time. So why did he stop speaking to her for 16 years and she lived in the same house? That is what starch does to you. Starch divides you from yourself. It divides you from your wife. Starch look what's going to happen. C.C. Charles started crying. Why? Because he felt that he did something wrong, but it wasn't.